they were treated as a subject of welfare. It was a welfare subject, as are the other welfare, social welfare, minority welfare. Even women were also the welfare subject in the ministry till 7th 5-year plan. After 7th 5-year plan only, government thought it is no more welfare, they need to be empowered. So from 7th plan onwards only, government started thinking about the empowerment of the women. Because they are almost half of the population. If they are unempowered, India is unempowered. So for their betterment, for their upliftment, once a woman is empowered, whole family, first it affects the family, then the society as a large, and ultimately the country. So government thought it fit that we should start from scratch, we should attack the empowerment of women. For this purpose, although no doubt nowadays there is too much emphasis on women empowerment, but 2 decades back that was not the thing. At that time, even women could not think about entering the premises of a bank, leave alone availing loan. That is why, taking into account all these plight of poor and marginalized women in the society, government formulated one National Commission for Women Empowerment in the year 1988. It gave its report by the name of Shram Shakti, which recommended intervention in the credit mechanism to assist poor women who were unfamiliar with the complexities of the institutional finance. Because in the institutional finance, whether it is bank or SIDBI or NABARD, there are so many procedures and formalities, which is poor and okay. In the city women, urban women, yes, she can understand. But what about the fate of poor and downtrodden women living in the far-flung areas of the country? For their upliftment, government thought about establishing a full-fledged institution who can take care of their requirements. It is only after 2 decades only government has set up one additional Bharti Mahila Bank also in the last year only, 2013. Exactly after 2 decades of our existence, they thought we are not enough to cater to the needs of the poor women. In addition to marginalized women, we have to take care of urban literate women also. For this purpose, that is why last year government has set up with 1,000 crore equity this Bharti Mahila Bank. So as on date, 2 full-fledged institutions, whether it is Rashtriya Mahila Kosh for the needs of poor and downtrodden women of the villages, rural areas, and for the city urban ladies, and Bharti Mahila Bank is already there in their existence. So as on date, 2 full-fledged institutions. What was the purpose behind establishing, first I will say about Rashtriya Mahila Kosh. Target was women. They used to depend upon men for each thing, for even single pie they were dependent upon men. So then they had to be, they were in the clutches of money lenders also. They used to exploit them. So taking into account all these facts, government thought, let an institution be there who should do away with all these formal collaterals on the third party guarantee. We are the bank, we are the institution who provides loans without collateral and without any third party guarantee. Although our loan quantum is low, maximum up to 50,000 per beneficiary, but with no hassles, with no collateral and no third party guarantee. And rate of interest is very negligible, hardly we charge 6% simple. We grant it for various purposes. Our purposes are mainly livelihood, for creation of livelihood or for income generating sources. Like if any women wants to employ local resources, by employing local resources also, like dairy farming, fishery, culture, whatever is available in that area. Like in Kerala, tissue is the availability, so based on that, and in other parts, fishery, somewhere is fishery there for the development of fishery. Wherever this animal husbandry is there for the growth of animal husbandry. Wherever handicrafts are there. So taking into account all the local facets, local resources, so that with 50,000, women cannot become Ambani. Only with 50,000, minimum the target is she should empower herself, she should stand on her own feet, she need not depend upon moneylenders and men. The purpose is, as I told you, these are various for their empowerment only, and then objectives, schemes. We grant loans to our various schemes. We have got various innovative 8 types of scheme are there. Loan promotion and main loan scheme. Mainly these are 2 popular schemes. So we start, our loan quantum starts from my meager 10 lakhs to up to 2 crore. Even for a NGO, we can grant maximum up to 6 crore also. Here I will add here that we are not giving directly to any women beneficiaries. First they have to get together, they have to form a SHG, self-help group. Nowadays only government is giving emphasis on this self-help group. We understood, rather government understood the value of SHG way back to 2 decades back itself. The first women of the working in the same activity, they should pool them together and they should form a group. Then we grant loans to the SHG, self-help group. Self-help group. We are not granting to any individual lady. To the groups only we are granting. We are granting through various schemes, as I told. Our loan quantum is up to 10 lakhs to maximum up to 2 crore. If the NGO or the group, it is working in 3-4 different states, it is not that he is particularly working in one place. If he is working in 2-3 different places also, so at the rate of 2 crore each state, that NGO or the group can apply for a loan maximum up to 6 crore also. This loan, as I told, it is granted for all these different activities. One group may be doing any animal husbandry, another group may be doing any handicraft. So taking into account the requirement of each group, we work out the eligibility of the amount and grant it to the group head, which is known as IMO, Intermediary Organization. These loans, as I told, they are without any collateral and without any third party guarantee. Yes, exceeding 1 crore loan, we do insist for 10% collateral security by way of term deposit. 10%, that is 90% is granted as it is. Even for northeastern states, because they are the backward states of the country and we have to do much for those states, all these parameters get further down, that is a NGO in for other categories, for other states, it should be registered for the past 3 years. Here in any states, the NGO should be registered only for 1 year. Their margin for other states, it is 10%, that is 90% financing from RMK side, but in any states we grant up to 95%, 5% margin. And Pradhan, that we look main functionings of NGOs, whosoever they will be visiting to our office, we provide them even to and fro air charges also. So for the betterment of those states, we are still more vibrant. Till date, that is, as I told, we are here for the past more than 21 years. Till date, we have disbursed more than 300 crore and granted a sanction of 360 crores of rupees. And our repayment is very good, as my dear colleague has told. The repayment of ladies borrowers is much better than the men folk. 30 to 50% reduction is there in the NPA if the borrower is women. They are more careful about the utilization of the funds. That is why our women borrowers are more credit worthy than the men folk. And
non-payment, what is it like? If you are taking a collateral in case of non-payment, what do you say?
We have got 2-3 different avenues how we tackle that. Although it is with the best of time, we have incurred NPAs also, we have incurred default also. So as I told, against our total disbursement of 300 crore, almost more than 34 crore, 10% of total almost has crashed, it has become NPA. Main reason I will say that is out of the 34, 13 to 14 crore itself belongs to Andhra itself. Andhra government promulgated an ordinance itself. They say such microfinance, the small amounts are waived by the government. Simply we cannot exert forceful measures for recovery. So if the government comes in the picture of the local leaders, they say, hey, these Baba, they are small loans, these are not to be repaid. So these have created defaults to us because of the government and this local politician and all these things. So, otherwise, as you told, what are the measures? We go for blacklisting. We first of all blacklist those NGOs, IMOs. We reported to all the banking sector, all the ministry through whom they may be getting any sort of grants. So all their grants get blocked. So they are the user. It is a very big weapon with us. And then additionally we take PDC, post-dated checks from the borrower at the time of grant of loan. So if he defaults, we put it in clearing and we take action, legal action under section 138 of Negotiable Instrument Act. And thirdly, we also file suit file all the procedure. So these are the various measures. But among all these measures, yes, blacklisting is the toughest one. It has given a very good result. Even 2 days back, I recovered almost 38 lakhs from an NGO in Kerala. He was suffering like anything. We had blacklisted him. His grants were held up to the tune of crores. He said, why not pay back 38 lakhs and get back crores? So these are the ways.
Would you like to add on something, Mr. Iyer, or
we would like to hear from the audience.
Yeah.
To kickstart this interaction, I would like to know how many of you are not having the business loan with any of the banks. Not having business loans.
Not having business loans.
Okay. And yeah, you have some questions?
After you.
Okay. No, and I also wanted to know those who are having business loans, when they choose the bank, is there anything they found interesting in the bank to choose a particular bank? Or it was just because the bank was your neighborhood, or you had a savings bank account or something like that? Is there any reason for choosing a particular bank?
Definitely the choice is dependent on where your account is there and the people there are aware of you, they know you. Because otherwise access to the loans for women is very difficult. The men folks sitting there, they don't take us seriously. They think it's just as if they come to just explore and they come again with their brother or their father or their husband or something like that. Usually, most of the time, they don't even give you complete details. You have to keep asking. Tell us what are the systems, what are the systems. And only then they are forthcoming. And especially if you know the people, then it's easier. 20-25 years back, when I first time went to the bank, I had a real difficulty there. And eventually I found my 4 bangles and started work. Let me start on that. And it is only over the years when I made a rapport with the banks, then eventually small loans. First loan was a small one, then next I took it was a little larger, then again a little larger. And personally I was looking forward to telling us a little more about how to develop project report if we are going in thinking of a big project now. And the second is how do I personally know about my credit score? And how does it affect my loan taking capacity?
I will take the second question first. The credit score is a very, very tricky issue. I tell you, even if you at a particular point defaulted on your credit card and then subsequently paid also, but the civil database is tracked with the banks. which is kind of an outdated. In fact, we discussed this issue even with the RBI level also, that when all the banks are depending only on the CIBIL database, and this database should be typically up to date. If you have repaid the loan, then they should rectify that it is repaid. In fact, I personally was a kind of a victim of that CIBIL database because it captured somewhere I bought something, credit card, and I used it. I don't know when. I didn't get any notice or something, and maybe it is still lying in CIBIL database that I defaulted some credit. So then I had to go there and personally rectify that, and it is a very tricky issue. And as regards to your first question, let me check whether my colleague from IBA has a response.
Can I add to this? You said that even we do prefer women to say paper. My experience of being a woman entrepreneur, I can take a my experience. Yeah, I really not agree with this because first time when you go to the bank, then obviously unless you have a male associate, you will not succeed.
So generally, I want to know what is it that comes into your mind when a woman comes to you. Generally, you say no.
I give my we don't deal with the entrepreneur. I give my personal experience. When I applied for a housing loan with Andhra Bank, they insisted me that my wife should be also a poor.
It must be some scheme.
No, it is not in that scheme. It is not for any interest subvention, 50% interest subvention or
Mr.
something.
Neil, you also said that there are some women-related schemes like Mahila Udyami. Till date, I have not been able to find any such schemes. And in case they are there, we would love to have those schemes presentation or something which you could tell us that these schemes are there. And collateral, which I always discussed with you, that collateral is a major concern for us. We are a medium-sized entrepreneur. We not a rural or we not a grassroots level entrepreneur who are sitting in front of you. We need to take our business to next level. Now there is a limitation of collateral that we can give to a bank. Okay, to expand our loan, we need working capital, we need working loans. So the choice of a bank which you asked us, how do you choose a bank, is typically the bank where I have a good relationship. One, two, who can give me OD without any problem. That these are the two things which are there in my mind. So I need to know that what is it that you can do to help a woman entrepreneur. And we talking about empowering women. I am sure women pay you better than men. There must be 90% of women who must be paying you back. So if you could highlight these points, what are the schemes under which you can get our benefit? I'm not talking about the small size loans which are 50,000, 1 lakh. No, we're going beyond that because we are the women who are contributing to the economy of this country.
I just want to know, do you have a desk which is manned by a woman? Managed by a woman who looks after the needs of a woman who comes to understand how to make a project report, for instance. That's the most tricky thing. She just doesn't know what to do, how to approach her idea. She has an idea and therefore she goes to a family member to help because she doesn't know how to extrapolate her revenues and to present a project report so that she can get financed. So and to go without hesitation to a woman in a bank. So do you have a desk? It's nice to have a bank which is a women's bank, but I don't even know the address of that bank. And if it is far away, then why would I go there? I would just just a point that every bank I think perhaps needs to have a desk which is manned by a woman. Yeah.
Or maybe some officer, for licensing who's more sensitized towards talking to women in this complete info. Like you have in police stations now. Because I'm a person who,
like the way we have special counter for female reservation in trains, or even a special kind of a compartment for women in metro. So why can't we have a counter which caters only to the women? And why is it only on Women's Day those counters are
terms and conditions that include different ways. You can have your own way of filtering out such women and penalizing them. Maybe don't give them those things. You can have various ways. At least give them the initial advantage. Adam here, processing is very simple.
Yes,
Manufacturers are having their own problems. They have not been able to kind of disburse loans. Would it not be more convenient? You have already established nationalized banks. Why don't you make it mandatory
per se, at least 5% of your loans or 3% of your loans should be dispersed to women. Because you have branches in every number two.
Yeah.
And like you have MSME, they have procurement that it should be funded to MSME. Why don't you also make it mandatory that you should source a certain percentage, whatever it could be, what you understand better, but a percentage of it by women producers. And you can have the documentation in place, whatever it needs to be. Third, you have different banks. Why don't you put all those schemes together of each bank? You are an Exim Bank. It becomes much easier. So I would be more than happy to collaborate with you in this. Put together all your schemes, whether it's ITPI, SIDB, whatever. Give it to us. We'll be more than happy to work with you to displace it because you have different schemes for different strata. If you give it to us, people become aware.
I have another point here to say. You have such schemes. You have by central government such schemes. You say that you might have preference over this, but they are not mandatory for the project report. So they chose not to be responsible and you can't ask them. You say there is a scheme which says collateral free loans or we are collateral free, finance or which is more sensitive. So you won't care about your intervention where it is easy or
You can take it as a suggestion or you can take it as a question, 2 points I made. Can the credit history with the card be disassociated with the credit history with the bank? That would certainly help.
I would like to.
Please take it as a suggestion or a recommendation. It's very important because a credit card, personal credit card, I may have it with X provider, but my bank history is up to date, excellent. Okay? My CIBIL score goes down because of 1 or 2 things, or one is traveling, or the check, whatever. That's another thing. Second thing is you talk about project reports, etc., etc. I've been associated with Bharatiya Yuva Shakti Trust, if you are aware of it. And we were giving soft loans for 4% to the underprivileged youth, women especially, 4%. And then we took them to the next scale and had a tie with Bank of Baroda. But the strength of that program has been, and it's been very, very successful, that the strength of BYST has been mentoring, okay, which did not, is not there for the banks. Then we insisted that BYST would assist the bank with a mentor and the bank would give the loans. This should be made, if you can't make it mandatory, at least suggested, because mentoring is so important. In fact, we would even designate a mentor first while the loan was being processed. So this is a recommendation, a suggestion, whatever. It's so important. Women have the passion, they have the drive, but they do not have the right launching pad because of these. So if you're asking for all these points are going for the government policies, it's important. Thank you.
I just add to that. There are cases where people take
Loans.
Business loans or personal loans. And what happens is if there's a default or a late payment, as she said, the bank immediately operates, it freezes your savings account, it encashes your fixed deposit because that's the fine print you sign. There are cases where I know people who pledged their jewelry against for a personal loan. Something in a different branch of the bank, she's gone back to take her jewelry back, but because there's some other business loan pending elsewhere, she's not able to retrieve her jewelry. So there are these things where, if, like she said, you have to separate the loans. The CIBIL credit score should not get affected. And what about, the fact that when you have deferred payments, I'm not saying that women go into the grey area of Mr. Mukhi where there is default or, for in perpetuity, but there should be this little leeway where it comes for a larger period, especially when there are force majeure conditions, not in their hands when they're not able to. Working capital is a very important thing. Unsecured loans. There are other ways to get a whole lot of collateral, which need not be just that you have your hardcore assets or inventory or things like that. But there can be other things which also stand for collateral to soften that aspect a bit, which mainstream banks don't do.
before you start answering them, the beginning of how you open a current account. This is my personal experience. 18 years ago, I went armed with my import-export code number, with my passport, with my photograph, and my savings account details. I went to this nationalized bank. I said, मेरे को account खोलना है अपने import-export के लिए. The bank manager tells me, money laundering करनी है क्या? What do I say to that? I got up, went to a private bank, opened my account and started my business. So when there's a problem in opening a current account by a woman, loans की तो बात ही अलग है. So now you can answer all the questions you want to answer.
हिंदी में माफी चाहूँगा, हिंदी में बताएं. हमारा एक छोटा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है और खासकर 2011 में हमने शुरू किया 10 महिलाओं के साथ में, और वहाँ बांधने का काम होता है, टाई एंड डाई का. और शुरुआत में हम लोगों का एक्सपीरियंस था 10 से 15 साल हमने एनजीओ सेक्टर्स में काम किया. उसके बाद हमने सोचा कि महिलाओं को आर्थिक रोजगार के साथ में जोड़े और उनके साथ में ट्रेडिशनल वहाँ क्या है वहाँ बांधनी है, तो उसको लेकर हमने शुरू किया. और एक मित्र थे जिन्होंने हमें 2 लाख रुपए दिए, उससे हमने उस बिजनेस को शुरू किया और 3 साल में हमने हमारा टर्नओवर करीब 33 लाख रुपए तक पहुंचाया. 33 लाख में पहुंचाने के बाद में हमें लगा कि एक लिमिट में, क्योंकि कॉटन और कॉटन के फैब्रिक और चंदेरी फैब्रिक में हम काम कर रहे थे जो सस्ता है, तो उसमें हम मैनेज कर रहे थे. लेकिन मार्केट में जो लिंकेजेस बने उसमें फिर डिमांड हुआ कि सिल्क में चाहिए, टसर में चाहिए, प्योर में चाहिए, तो उसके रॉ मटेरियल के लिए हमें पैसा ज्यादा चाहिए था. तो हमने ट्राई किया कि हम बैंक से लोन लें और हमारा अकाउंट BOB अकाउंट बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में है और पिछले 3 साल से उसी से टर्नओवर बड़ौदा हो रहा है. तो हम ये कहानी बताना चाह रहे हैं कि उस बैंक से हमने लोन के लिए ट्राई किया. तो सबसे पहले तो उन्होंने कहा भाई आप एनजीओ है और आप तो नॉन प्रॉफिटेबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है और आपकी अगर बुक्स में प्रॉफिट नहीं होगा तो हम तो आपको लोन नहीं दे सकते हैं. तो पहला तो उन्होंने ये कहा. फिर कहा कि नहीं, आगे की कहानी में वो अमृता जी बताएंगे कि किस तरह से लोन के चक्कर में हम लोग भारतीय महिला बैंक तक घूमे. उसके बाद आगे जो आप जिक्र कर रहे थे उसका भी वो बताएंगे. बताओगे कि अमृता जी खुद बताए इसको.
नमस्ते सर. पहले तो बोला कि ये जो आपका एनजीओ सोसाइटी एक्ट में जो रजिस्टर्ड है उसमें नॉर्म्स में नहीं है कि आप लोन लेके काम कर सकते हो. तो पहले तो हमने नॉर्म्स चेंज कराया, रजिस्ट्रार ऑफिस के चक्कर पे चक्कर काट के 3 महीने में वो चेंज हुआ. उसके बाद में मैनेजर साहब ने हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का विजिट किया. विजिट करने के बाद में बोला कि ठीक है ये साइज के कुर्ते अलग कर देना, बैंक में ले आना मेरी बच्ची के लिए. वो हम लेके गए तो उन्होंने पूछा कि इनका प्राइस क्या है. तो हमने हमारा प्रॉफिट तो जोड़ा ही, लागत को जोड़ के हमने बताया कि ये पैसा है. उसके बाद वो बोला कि ठीक है अभी तो हम बिजी चल रहे हैं, हमारा इंटरनल ऑडिट चल रहा है, आप 1 महीना बाद आना. ऐसे करके 6 महीने तक चक्कर काटे. वो 6 महीने बाद में बोल रहे हैं कि वो कुर्ते बहुत जल्दी फट गए आपके. तो कॉटन कुर्ता है तो मेरे ख्याल से 3 महीने अगर चल गया तो काफी था. चलो वो एक खैर एक अलग बात है. फिर 6 महीने बाद कोई बैंक का ही एक आदमी जो लोकल वही है और वो मध्यस्थता करता है, जो लोन दिलवाता है या लिमिट करता है. जो ठेकेदार हैं, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर हैं या फिर जो ट्रैक्टर वगैरह लेते हैं उनको जो लोन दिलवाता है उनकी मध्यस्थता करता है. वो एक दिन आके बोला बहन जी आपको सिस्टम समझ में नहीं आया क्या इधर का. मैंने कहा नहीं सिस्टम समझ में नहीं आया वरना तो इतने चक्कर नहीं काटते. बोले कि जी देखो कुछ करना पड़ेगा. तो हमने कहा सब कर दिया सर. नॉर्म चेंज करने की बात थी, प्रस्ताव ले लिया.